Well, good afternoon. That's pitiful. It's embarrassing. Try again. Good afternoon. A little bit better. Thank y'all for being with us. I'm sorry I wasn't with you this morning, but great turnout today. And I want to thank all of our sponsors, all of our speakers today. We've got a great program after we get through our awards here today. But just really thank you for caring about rural Georgia and for being here. And I know most of you are here for the awards and for Scott and Kaylee's talking about healthcare afterwards. But before I do that, I just want to give you a few little comments here. We started this morning in Atlanta with the governor talking about economic development. And it occurred to us as we were sitting there that a year ago, this facility was used to house linemen that were responding to Hurricane Helene. And so let me first start by where are all my utility providers, Georgia Power, EMC, MEAG, where are you guys? Round of applause for these guys and what they did. Thank you all so much. Now, here's what I think people aren't hearing about Hurricane Helene, and then I want to hit a couple other points here. We're still recovering. I don't think the Atlanta media understands that. Florida got a lot of attention, North Carolina rightfully so, but we've still got economies, communities that are still suffering in this area. We've still got federal money that hasn't come through. I do want to thank Tyler Harper for his hard work in trying to get the dollars in here to help our farmers out. Does anybody here from Tyler's team? If not, somebody text him and tell him I said something nice about him. But here's the other part of our conversation this morning. Hurricane Helene has kind of been joined for some other headwinds that are really impacting our rural communities today, a little bit differently than we were maybe a year ago, right? The first big one is the impact first of Helene's impact on the timber industry, and then the impact of the closures that we've seen. We had another closure last week in the timber industry sector. We are working with Tim, the Forestry Commission, the governor, the speaker, with everyone to try to find some short-term and long-term solutions. But the impact there could be 25 to 30% to many of our timber communities in this state. There's more work to do there. Unfortunately, at the same time that we have those headwinds, we've also have our farmers right now really taking a beating on tariffs and having some markets closed to them. And I know the governor talked this morning about trying to get some relief, some bailout for some of our farmers, but I don't know a farmer that wants a bailout. They want markets to sell their products to. And so we're going to continue to work with Tyler and our other partners. We're continuing to work at the federal level to try to make sure that we can sell what we grow in this state anywhere in the world. We've also got some headwinds with health care, and we're going to have a panel discussion about that. Folks much better situated to talk about the potential impact to our rural hospitals, a conversation we've had over and over and over again. But again, I want to thank Kaylee. I want to thank members of Congress who are trying to push through this bill. We came out yesterday asking Congress to keep the government open, to make sure that we could pay, make sure all of our contractors were there, that we could support health care. They didn't listen to us. I'm sorry. Our influence only goes so far. We're going to continue to have that conversation. We're going to continue to advocate for that, and we'll do whatever, Kaylee, you and your team need as we continue to fight for rural hospitals. The other issue that's come up here recently is the issue around visas and having the workforce that we need for our farmers, for our hospitals, for our manufacturing plants. We were very strong earlier this week. We came out, we need full visa reform to make sure that we've got the workforce that we need for the future. And we're going to fight for that and work on that as we move through this Congress and as we move forward. I don't have any illusions that we'll fix those issues quickly, but we've got to make sure our voice is heard, and particularly in our smaller communities that rely on workers to come in and train or to help when our crops are ready. So we got those headwinds that are out there, and we're going to continue to fight for them. But here's what's really remarkable to me, that despite all of that, the governor this morning announced that not only did we just become the best place to do business for the 12th year in a row, which we can celebrate that, but here's the remarkable part of that. The governor said, not only did we win that award, but we just had, for the 5th year in a row, record economic development, recruitment, retention, expansion in the state of Georgia, somewhere in the neighborhood of, I think he said this morning, 30,000 new jobs, $23 billion worth of new investment that will come into these communities over the next few years. And here's the most important part. For the 4th year in a row, nearly 80% of that investment and that economic growth will be in rural Georgia. Over almost 80%. And the governor said it very clearly, that's the result of our communities, our local chambers, our development authorities working together at the state, going around the world to recruit companies here, tell our story, to make our communities better, to work on workforce development and all those other issues. And so where are my Department of Economic Development and my local economic developers at? Where are y'all? Stand up so we can thank you for what you do every day. Come on. Round of applause, guys. Thank y'all. The reason that rural Georgia is more prosperous today than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago is because of great leadership. It's the Tyler Harpers of the world. It's the Brian Kemps of the world. But quite frankly, there's lots of unsung heroes, and it's the men and women in this room that are in communities doing the hard work every day to make Georgia a better place to live, work, play, and pray. And that's why last year, or a year before last now, Scott Purvis, where did Scott go? Did y'all send him in the back? By himself, over by the other. There's a light there. Do you have other people sitting with you? God bless. It was great servant-hearted leaders like Scott Purvis who said we need to start recognizing excellence and exceptional servant-hearted leadership in our rural communities. And that's why a round of applause for Scott Purvis. Scott, thank you. God bless you. So now I have to come to my notes. So last year, we were going to announce our first Rural Award winners, and we were unable to do that because of Hurricane Helene. And so we want to recognize them, and then we want to announce our winners for 2025. So everybody ready? So we're going to start with our Rural Champions and Rural Community of the Year. We believe these awards recognize not just a job well done, but that the fact that every person in a community works together to make a difference in incredible, incredible ways. And so last year we announced 3 rural champions. This award is given to a person, business, organization, or program that is actively addressing the issues to make rural Georgia and their independent communities more prosperous. This could be anything from healthcare to transportation, community development, economic development, historic preservation, the list goes on and on and on. And so our first winner last year, who we're going to recognize again now, was the Miller County Hospital under the leadership of CEO Robin Rao. Yeah? Think I did it right, Robin? I tried. We've heard from Robin before, but she and her team really have transformed from a struggling facility on the brink of closure to one of the most innovative and impactful rural hospitals in the nation. Her bold vision, thinking about specialty care, telehealth, long-term health, wellness programs, in a community of only 6,000, where the largest employer is actually the hospital with over 800 employees. Not only that, but she focused on affordability, employee well-being, how you care for the people that show up every single day. Robin, her whole team, I think, embody the very spirit of what a rural champion is, with her unwavering dedication to stick it out in the community when times are tough. Please join me in congratulating our 2024 Rural Champion Award winner, Robin Rao with Miller County Hospital. Robin, that means you come up now and get this award. You're just going to sit back there, weren't you, Robin? I know, but come on up anyway. For all the other winners, if you know I'm going to announce your name, come on up. All right, don't be bashful about this. Congratulations again. I don't know, come on.
I'd rather be quiet about that.
I love the humility of this too, right? That's what makes a great servant leader, so.
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Robin. All right, our next rural champion demonstrates how collaboration and vision can transfer an entire community, and I've been working with this community for years and have seen the incredible work that they've done. The Sumter Foundation has become a model for what's possible when a community's leadership gets together, makes a commitment for the long term. They are the only community in Georgia to receive the USDA Transportation's Thriving Communities Capacity Building Award, which helped them connect their community. They've built incredible public-private partnerships over the long term, working on infrastructure, healthcare. They launched the Ignite College and Career Academy and worked on so many more programs. It's just incredible, the transformation of that community and really developing a brand new model for others to follow. So please join me in welcoming Tammy Jones, our 2024 Rural Champion of the Year Award winner representing Sumter. I love it. You got your Savannah State colors on, right? Oh, we'll. Today. All right. Another round of applause for Sumter. Thank you all. All right, now we want to turn to a leader whose vision is shaping the very foundation of rural prosperity and housing. As we all know, without workforce housing, there's very little our communities can do, and we're not going to be thriving or successful. White County, however, has tackled this issue, and we've heard them when we were in North Georgia for some of our early rural events. Tom O'Brien has worked tirelessly to expand the housing opportunities in White County by bringing the chamber together with the Development Authority, local developers, city leaders to build out a comprehensive housing study, a tactical plan. He identified infill opportunities, how to create kind of market-appropriate housing, and that's tough, particularly in a place like North Georgia where we got a NIMBY living on every single corner. Yeah, I said it, and I'll say it again when I go up there. I don't care. But his efforts have literally doubled the number of new housing units, not impacting infrastructure, done incredible work, and helped revive retail as well in downtown Cleveland. Really, Tom's leadership has really made a huge difference. And so please join me in welcoming, thanking, and congratulating Tom O'Brien, our 2024 Rural Champion Award winner. There he is. All right, another round for Tom. Thank you. All right, and the last award from last year that we wanted to recognize was our, turning my page, our Rural Community of the Year award winner, which was Metter, Candler County. We presented their award to them last year at the State of Their Community Breakfast. Y'all, from the floods to the hurricane to the downtown fires, that community couldn't catch a break forever. But that leadership really came together, built an incredible new program around some great servant leaders. And so, they're not here, right? They're not here, but a round of applause for our friends at the Metter, Candler County community. Y'all ready for 2025? If you know you're getting to 2025, you can make your own way down here. So let's keep this going. This year's recipients continue to demonstrate innovation, collaboration, and quite frankly, resilience, particularly after what we saw through Hurricane Helene. Each of these honorees reflect the very best of what it means to be a rural champion. And our first award winner is Locate South Georgia. You can applaud them, we can keep it going. I think this is probably the best example, and I go all over Georgia, as some of you unfortunately know, and I'm always asked about regionalism and how you work together, and I always talk about Locate South Georgia being the best program in the state for how you work together. This organization now represents 23 counties. They work on regional prospect connections. They work with our friends at Department of Economic Development, DCA, every single agency out there. They're in Atlanta representing these communities, even after Hurricane Helene, they showed remarkable resilience and generosity from those that were hit and those that weren't to help the ones that were. It is all about community. Together, those 23 counties in the last, I don't know how long, but in a relatively short period of time, have had over $500 million worth of new investments into those 23 counties, bless you, 1,300 jobs, over 30 projects. They've now developed 13 grad-ready certified sites. They've got 2 metropolitan centers, 7 micropolitans, and a workforce of 300,000. They are literally changing the face of Southwest Georgia every single day, and I'm so proud of them and love them for their servant-hearted leadership that we've seen over and over again. So please join me in welcoming up all of our Locate South Georgia. I know Shelly Zorn is our chair this year. Shelly, all of y'all, come on up. Let's get the big picture up. There you are, Madam Chair. We'll get the picture, and then I'll let you say a few words.
Up here and they wouldn't come.
Well, they're all bashful and come on, get here in the middle. Least bashful group I've ever met in my life, but look at them coming up here. You get them around a quail hunting or a cooler of beer, and it's on all night. But good Lord, get a picture made, and you think, come on. Well, I know how we sold our tickets today. Come on, y'all. Come on, Karen, come on right there. Shelly, you want to come say a word on behalf of the gaggle here?
So this is a motley crew right here. They really are the definition of regional collaboration. It's been going on for 2 decades, long before I was the chairman. We had one chairman, Darrell Moore, who I have to recognize. He was our chairman for 10 years without any staff. I've got it easy. I've got a wonderful part-time staff person who really does all the heavy lifting. But Jason Dunn from Fitzgerald, Grant Buckley from Cordele, we've had some great, great leaders before me, and it really is the hardest working group of economic developers in the state. We truly collaborate, and we're like family. We love each other, we disagree, and then we still love each other. So they are a great group, and this really goes to all the people you saw on the stage.
Years ago when I was in Hawkinsville, we tried to put together a regional group, and we went to Atlanta to do our pitch to the Department of Economic Development, and then we took all these project managers out to dinner afterwards, and 2 of the guys representing the communities that were part of our regional group got in a fist fight at dinner. And I said, well, we're not ever going to do that again. So I appreciate y'all not getting a fist fight at dinner after 20 years. That speaks volumes about all of you. All right, so let's keep going. From regional collaboration across South Georgia, I want to turn to a small city that has embraced vision and innovation at the local level. Our next award recognizes how one community is transforming its downtown, strengthening housing, supporting entrepreneurs, and preserving its heritage and its downtown history all at the same time. In a community of just 5,000 people, the Downtown Development Authority of Madison, Georgia, has proven that bold ideas and strategic partnerships can really have an incredible impact. They serve as the economic revitalization leader, something we all need to focus more on, urban renewal, the overseer of Main Street, the DDA, housing, infrastructure, and everything else you can imagine, from building out large-scale projects like Silver Lake Court and Carmichael Commons, to projects like the W. Washington Gateway Redevelopment Incubator for downtown businesses. And the list goes on, and holy cow, Tiffany, how many pages? This is all impressive. I got to read all of it? Okay, listen, infrastructure, stormwater, sidewalks, trails, all private investment coming into the community, and preserving and conserving really 50 acres of incredible important green space to protect the historic areas in downtown Madison, which I know you've all been to and you all appreciate it. It is this community has been persistent. That's what will be on all of their t-shirts at the end of the day. So we are excited to recognize Monica Callahan and the Downtown Development Authority of Madison as our 2025 Rural Champion Award winner as well. Monica, you and your team, come on up. Come on. Say a few words. Come stand right there. Y'all stand in the middle. Come this way. Come this way. There you go.
I'm not good at this.
All right, no, you come. All right, somebody's got to come say a few words.
Okay, so my Main Street manager just abandoned me. Sarah Wybell, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that we have people that will step in our communities and step up and say the hard things sometimes. My chairman, Ben Wigby, couldn't be here today. He's from this area, and he was regretful, but he said, people don't always recognize the things that we do, but the things that we do pull the community together, and they matter. And so I'm just really grateful that I always serve with good bankers, good developers, have good resources that I rely on, and we are able to pull the community together and make a difference and lift up even the very small communities that are in Georgia that are valuable. So each of you take that home to your community. We know that being under 5,000, it's still possible. It's possible for all of us. So thank you.
Congratulations. All right, we've talked about the power of regional partnerships, local leadership, and our next award goes to someone whose work is often more behind the scenes, but whose impact is felt literally across all of rural Georgia. As director of OneGeorgia, Gina Webb has shown extraordinary leadership, vision, and compassion in helping us maneuver through some of the most pressing challenges facing rural Georgia. Plus, she gets to bring big checks with her sometimes when she comes to town, which really makes you more popular. She is tirelessly traveling across this state, working with countless local leaders, businesses, chambers, families to work on everything from broadband to hurricane recovery and relief. Under her leadership, OneGeorgia has implemented 4 new programs, including disaster relief and housing assistance, while administering 112 grants totaling $181 million. Those investments have helped bring in 18,000 new jobs, and maybe even more importantly, sometimes retaining 3,500 jobs. She knows how this stuff works because she started in a small rural community and still lives there, loves everything that she does and works in those communities. But really what sets her apart is not just the scale of her work, but the fact that she cares about every single rural community in this state, and she will be anywhere you want her to be and do anything you need her to do any single day. So join me in congratulating our 2025 Rural Champion Award winner, Gina Webb with the OneGeorgia Authority.
I really did not want to get behind the mic. So I just want to thank y'all for having great communities that we can partner with across the state. I work with a fabulous team who has been very kind to come down from Atlanta and join me today and congratulating me on this. But I'm just thankful that I get to make an impact across rural Georgia. I've been a lifelong resident of rural Georgia, and I've had some really great mentors along the way. My husband surprised me and showed up today at lunch, and if it weren't for him and my children allowing me to pursue my passions, I couldn't be able to help y'all in your communities. So thank you.
Oh. All right, our last award today is our Rural Champion Awards, is our 2025 Rural Community of the Year. Oh, this is not the last. I do have one more after this, so just sit tight. The honor celebrates a community that demonstrates not only resilience and innovation, but really thinks differently about how they promote their community. Nestled in the North Georgia mountains, one of my favorite places. I actually will be up there in a couple of weeks for Thanksgiving. Our winner this year is Fannin County. You applaud for Fannin. There you go. What truly sets this community apart is its deep commitment to uplifting its most vulnerable residents. It has over 55 active civic organizations, and they rally around to work on everything from childhood poverty and really extraordinary civic pride in their work. From Fannin County's Family Connection, which served more than 25,000 children for food, homeless services, snack in a backpack, 500 meals to students each week during the summer. Their women-led Impact 100 Fannin has contributed over $400,000 in grants in just the last 3 years. They've got organizations like Kiwanis Club, Children's Fund, Open Arms, all benefiting from the work of that effort. We all know them for their tourism activities like the Blues and Barbecue Festival, the Blue Ridge Parade of Homes, the train, fly fishing, and 47 other things we can think of. They also worked hard to make sure that they had an education component there for folks that maybe didn't want to go away, and they've worked hard to build the University of North Georgia's Blue Ridge campus, which has an incredible programming, just unbelievable generosity and shared values and a servant-hearted heart and corporate citizenship at a whole nother level. And that's why we're happy to recognize Christy Gribble come up to accept the award for the 2025 Rural Community of the Year, Blue Ridge, Fannin County. Christy, where you at? Come on, the whole community can come on up. Christy, bring them on. Brought a crowd. Congratulations. Good to see you. I know, I'm excited. Congratulations. Come on up. Congratulations. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Come on up. Congrats. Good to see you. So you took the name tag off. You got the note, didn't you? Yes, sir. Come on up. Y'all got to squeeze in. You got to get a good picture for the paper. Who's going to, Christy? You want to say a few words? Okay.
Hey everyone. When Tiffany wrote me that our community won this award, I immediately reached out to the 10 organizations that were included in the nomination. I said, could you please come with me to receive this award? And there was so much excitement, and I said, it's in Tifton. So if you don't know, that's a 5-hour drive for us on a good day. Could be a 7+ hour drive. But this group that came down, they're amazing. They work diligently, whether in a professional capacity or volunteer capacity, to help with children in need. And hundreds of thousands of dollars go to help these children. And I cannot say enough to what they do to help reduce the number of children living in poverty in our community. So thank you to them.
Yeah, y'all have to leave before rush hour. Just wait and eat dinner down here before you get home tonight. Sorry about it. You should probably just spend the night. All right. So before we have a little break here, we want to do one more award. And this is not one we give every year. And we wanted to save this to be something kind of special and different. And I have very mixed emotions about this award and this recipient. I love him to death, but I'm mad at him too. We have the Georgia Chamber Rural Impact Award that we reserve for extraordinary occasions to honor a leader whose vision and service have left a lasting mark on rural Georgia. This year, the first time this award has been given, goes to someone whose leadership has transformed not just his institution, but quite frankly, the entire region of the state. During his tenure at Valdosta State, Dr. Richard Carvajal has been a tireless advocate from the moment he rolled in for rural Georgia. Expanded education access, creating, I think, the first college that have all of their programs online, really a visionary, a thought leader in what that could be. He's built incredible partnerships. He's invested in these communities. He's helped recruit companies. He's made economic development a cornerstone of what Valdosta State does every single day, while being an incredible mentor and servant-hearted leader for the students, faculty, and staff who have had some issues that we've had to work through over the last few years. But that's what leadership does. It takes the hard stuff and it turns it into something much better. Unfortunately, many of you know that Dr. Carvajal has recently announced that he will be stepping away from his tenure at Valdosta State to take on another role in another city somewhere else. I don't care. And while this award and I think this departure kind of marks the close of an important chapter for the university, his impact on our region will last for generations to come. And we're a better rural Georgia and a better Georgia and a much better Valdosta State for the incredible impact of Valdosta State President Dr. Richard Carvajal.
Wow. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to the Georgia Chamber. I did not expect this. With every leadership role I've ever had, I frankly only had one goal. Some of you have heard me say this before, but it was always to leave it better than I found it. I absolutely think at Valdosta State we've done that. Enrollment's up. We brought home our 10th NCAA national championship recently. Those always feel good. Go Blazers, that's right. And this fall we're celebrating our 20-year high in student retention. That's probably our biggest win. But I love all of South Georgia. I really do, and I always will. And a year ago, it is crazy that, as Chris mentioned, we were all dealing with something very, very different. We weren't having a luncheon and we weren't giving awards. In fact, a year ago, I was in a room with a bunch of regional leaders, all who had been clearly impacted by this terrible event we call Helene. And Joe Brownlee, many of you know Joe, Regional Director for Georgia Power. Joe said something that really stuck with me. He said that Southern Company had looked at this over the years and that communities and regions that had been hit by natural disasters, just like the one that we all experienced, so many of us experienced with Helene, he said when you looked into the future, they were all beating the norms. They were all doing so much better than what was expected. And I can tell you, in that day, we were just trying to turn the lights back on, right? We were just trying to get people fed and keep them safe. But his words stuck with me. And then I watched a community and a region come together like never before. And you know what? Because of all of you and so many more, a few years from now, we're going to make what Joe said absolutely real. I am so proud of my community. I'm so proud of our region. I'm so proud of rural Georgia. And together, we've done some great things, and I am beyond optimistic about what it will look like going forward. Chris, thank you so much.
Appreciate you.